this meeting to order. Could we have roll call, please?
Chris Brown? Here. Rob Caruth?
Present.
Amy Grantham? Nancy Hopper?
Present.
Katie Jess?
Here.
John Prouty?
Here.
Melissa Smits?
Present. Could you all stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You have before you the previous minutes from April 17th. What is the pleasure of the board?
Move to approve. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Chris Brown?
Aye.
Rob Caruth?
Aye.
Nancy Hopper?
Aye.
Katie Jess?
Aye.
John Prouty?
Aye.
Melissa Smits?
Aye. You have in front of you the added table files and the agenda. Would anyone like to make a motion regarding the agenda with the added table files?
Move to approve the agenda with the additions of the tabled files.
Seconded.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Chris Brown?
Aye.
Rob Caruth?
Aye.
Nancy Hopper?
Aye.
Katie Jess?
Aye.
John Prouty?
Aye.
Melissa Smits?
Aye. Next up, we have special presentation. We have Mrs. Jennifer Kroll about the alternative licensure program. Hi.
Hi, thank you guys for allowing me to share with you about the program that we started here back in August, Teach Today and Lead Today. So this is an alternative licensure program, and so for those of you that aren't as familiar as what does alternative licensure mean, you need to have a bachelor's degree or higher. You need to be hired in the teaching area in which you are endorsed. So if you're coming in as like a secondary math person, you need to be teaching in that area. And then you need to be enrolled in an alternative licensure program. And so this is a way to help our teachers reach that initial licensure through CDE. The reason why we put together this program is so that we can have an impact on our community as well as on our educators in the district. So we saw this as an opportunity to grow our own teachers. We can recruit those who are interested in going into teaching, but maybe there's been some other barriers that have presented that held them back from going into teaching, whether it be cost, location, opportunity, different things like that. By having a local program, we can help people so they don't have to travel out of town. There aren't overnights. I know that childcare can often be a challenge, so by having a local program, we're reducing a lot of those barriers. It also fits into a family's schedule. And then this is a 2-year program with the idea that we want to help retain our teachers and give them lots of layered support as they start their teaching profession. There are grant dollars available for our teachers, so they can request up to $10,000 to help offset the cost of the program. And so for our local teachers, it is a $10,000 program, so basically it's no cost to them. They do have to commit to teaching in a shortage area for 3 years. And then this is also an opportunity for us to build some partnerships, for example, like with MCC or the early childhood centers in town. So Teach Today, we're creating quality teachers who provide quality education to all students. We can make your teaching dreams come true. So again, you have to have your bachelor's degree, you have to show content knowledge, and then you have to secure a position in the classroom, and then you take the coursework as you teach. And again, it will lead to initial teaching licensure at the end of the program. We also have a similar model for our principals who may not have gone through a traditional program. So that's the Lead Today. And again, we're creating quality principals or assistant principals. They need to be hired in the role of a principal, and then they'll go through leadership coursework. And again, it will lead them to, well, they have to have a plan approved by CDE, and that will lead them to their initial principal authorization through the state. So it's a great opportunity for our local folks. And again, our mission is to develop teacher candidates who demonstrate subject knowledge as they learn the art and science of teaching. We want to create community partnerships to increase pathways across and access to obtaining a teaching license. We provide layer support for these teachers. And then we value strong foundations and continuous improvement, collaboration with the state as well as other preparation pathways. This helps increase diversity, equity, inclusion across our teaching staff, and it helps us build some community partnerships. Our goal is to increase teacher retention by preparing our own teachers. Again, provides local access, and we've seen an increase in staff diversity as well through this program. So here are the different areas in which one can be endorsed: early childhood, elementary, secondary, K-12, principal, and we are looking at adding special ed next year because that is a need within our own district. And later on in the agenda, you'll see I've got a grant request for $50,000. It's not a ton of money, but those dollars then would be used to pay somebody to write our special ed program for us, and then also pay somebody to come and teach that for us as well. So we anticipate submitting that to CDE yet this spring with a review over the summertime, and we anticipate state board approval this fall. So we've had a really successful number of candidates that we're supporting both in our teacher and principal. And so this year for our teacher, we have a cohort of 20. We actually do offer this program across the state as well. It's in person for those in Fort Morgan, and then we offer a virtual option for those out of district. Our brush candidate drives over here because it's not that big of a deal to drive the 10 minutes. But we do have somebody from Keensburg as well as Loveland in our program. As we prepare for next year, we already have enrollment of 12, which is, I think, a good, strong number. We're going to see that number increase as the school year ends and the summer continues on. But we've got 5 people out of district committed to being in our program next year. So we're adding districts such as Woodland, Wiggins, Fort Lupton, and Elizabeth. And then last week I was up in Loveland talking to their HR director, and they've committed to sending their alternative licensure programs as part of our program as well. So it's an opportunity for us to bring some revenue in and continue to offset these costs. And every candidate that comes in is paying, right? So this is a self-funded program. And then for principals, we've had 3 this year, 1 out of district, 2 in district. And then next year, we're already anticipating 2 in district, and we're reaching out and promoting it to out of our other districts as well. But at this time, we don't have any principals out of district. So program overview, this is a 2-year program like I shared. We meet monthly. Virtual cohort meets twice a month. And then it's asynchronous, so we do some face-to-face, and then there's some assignments and discussions that they do online at their own pace. And again, it's in person for in-district and virtual option for those out of district. This licensure program will meet the English language requirements. All prep programs must embed 90 hours of English learner instruction into them. You might have heard some discussion like somebody who holds a professional license, they have to have 45 hours to meet this requirement. So we meet it through the 90, as well as this prepares teachers to meet that state required district or district requirement for the READ Act as well. So again, it's nice, it's embedded. The teacher doesn't complete the program, and then guess what? Now they have to do another 45 hours of EL or the READ Act and everything. It's all embedded into the program. So our next steps are to continue to strengthen the teacher pipeline here in Fort Morgan. We have 1 high school student who is enrolled in the TREP program for next year, which will help offset their costs to becoming a teacher. And so they'll start their work at MCC and then transfer to a 4-year degree with the idea that they come back here to student teach and, you know, we have the opportunity to hire another local teacher. And then we've got some para pathways that we've been working on. Again, our paraprofessionals can access those $10,000 to help offset their costs of getting the bachelor's degree. And we've got at least 6 paras in our district who took advantage of that this year. We built a partnership with another university, and they've agreed to then help offset some costs and lower their tuition. So we're trying to, again, make becoming a teacher, reducing as many barriers as we can. And then we're working on some different apprenticeship models to help teachers grow professionally. Again, there's another source of funding to help offset the costs. And then we're creating a model that other districts may join. So what questions do you have?
So for the principals, I'm assuming they're already educators that are just wanting their admin license, and if so, is that equivalent to a master's? Or is it just the,
So great question. The alternative licensure for principals was actually written so that you could have that career changer, so you could have like a business person
Okay.
who's got leadership skill transition to education. Most times you are going to see somebody who's been an initial or professional teacher move into that role. However, it allows for both pathways. So in order to get the CDE, initial principal authorization, you have to have 3 years of licensed experience. So for that person who doesn't have that licensed experience, they can be an alt principal for 3 years. Or if they have 2 years and they just need another year to get that equivalent of 3 years, they can.
So you mentioned the grant money for the locals, is that just for Fort Morgan?
Everyone can access that too.
Okay.
So legislation was passed a year and a half ago that designates $5 million every year for the next 10 years. So we've got about another 8 years on this. The challenge is there's only $5 million, and that ran out in February. So, you know, the people who get in their grant application as fast as possible can secure those funds. We've got to be creative with our late starts who are hired, you know, February, March, April, May. But it's a 2-year program, and we can have them access those funds July, because every July they become available again.
We are the only school district in the state.
As of 2 weeks ago.
Who else?
Douglas County got in there, and now they're, but Fort Morgan.
Can't trust Douglas County.
Yeah. They're only serving Douglas County, but look, I've got somebody from Elizabeth in our program.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're getting the word out there that we exist, and it is pretty exciting that we can offer this opportunity not only for our local educators, but across the state as well.
So when we charge out-of-district people, what do we charge them?
We charge them $12,000.
So there is some additional revenue. We thought that there should be some skin in the game for the other districts if they're outside of this, but if you work for us,
Right.
we're gonna.
It's a good idea.
We're gonna get that cost.
Yeah, and special education will charge $13,000 just because there's some additional coursework that goes with it.
Well, I know last year that the teachers were asking for this type of program, so I'm really glad you were able to do that.
Yeah. Glad to see the participation.
Yeah.
We appreciate your support. I think it's a real good opportunity for Fort Morgan and beyond.
I mentioned you the other day, I was in a rural Zoom meeting of whatever, and so I threw your name out and the program, so yay. Yay us.
Yay, yeah, thank you.
Very
Send
good
candidates
job.
our way. Like I said, it's, you know, our goal is to have it be self-funded, which is nice. Good opportunity, so.
It's fantastic in the first year.
Mhm.
Congratulations, that's great.
All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
Okay, next we have the opportunity for any audience, public
You could just leave it.
comments.
That's fine.
Clint?
Clint?
Just one time, just one.
All right. Up next are the reports. And first, we have Fort Morgan High School student representative for the last time, Marbella.
For my last time speaking and being with you all today, I just wanted to express my gratitude for having me one last time and for the opportunity that you have all given me. As nervous as I've been, I've truly enjoyed speaking with you and letting you all know about the high school. Even though Mr. Sanders told me that I needed to sing for my last meeting, I will not be doing that for everyone's sake. Last Wednesday, NHS welcomed 8 new members to the organization. Today, our girls' soccer team just celebrated their seniors and played against Timnith. I think that's how you say it. When I left, the score was 0-2, so hopefully we can score. But they will continue to play hard at their game tomorrow against Skyline. Baseball will play against Riverdale Ridge tomorrow. And then Wednesday, May 3rd, FMHS is having the Mighty Mustang Awards ceremony at 6 p.m. Track will have a meet this Friday as well. And just to update you on the senior countdown, seniors have 7 days left of school starting tomorrow. They have their banquet May 11th, the graduation walk through the schools on the 12th, their car parade on the 20th, and graduation on the 21st.
Exciting.
Yay.
Could you please give us a report about what your plans are after graduation?
Yeah. I'm going to MCC and hopefully getting into the radiology program. And then going to Aurora to get into an ultrasound tech school.
That's great.
Well, next we have board reports, and first up for board reports is to say thank you for coming and giving us reports every week. We very much appreciate it.
Yes, we do.
Thank you.
And no, we're not going to make you sing.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Okay, next, Chris, I believe you have a BOCES report.
Yeah, we had a meeting last Thursday, and I put the reports in from Mark Rangel and Maria Signs. And I also put the one in for Jocelyn. She spoke about the Universal Pre-K program and all the problems that they're having getting that going. It's been kind of a nightmare. So they're working on that. Mark talked about, the iConnect school is gonna apply to go to a 4-day week so they can be the same with all the schools around here instead of 5 days a week. And that's about it.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for Chris about her report? Thank you. Do we have any other reports? Okay. Thank you, Nancy. Just kidding. Moving on to our superintendent, Mr. Sanders.
Well, thank you. Just wanted to report on our registration so far this year. We're doing it a little bit different in that when I first walked in the door last summer, I watched as Martha, our translator, spent from about 7:30 in the morning till about 6 o'clock at night, every single night, registering families as they came into the district office. So we thought, is there a way that we could maybe relieve some of that? We're never going to stop it, but is there a way to relieve it? So we met as an administrative team and we talked and we tossed it around a little bit, but we decided to do some open nights at the various schools throughout the district. If you go to any one of the schools, you can register any one of your kids. It doesn't matter if you're at Columbine, doesn't matter if you're at Pioneer, doesn't matter if you go to the high school, whatever night they have, you can go and you can register your kids. Now, if you're one of those families that doesn't need to update anything, they haven't moved, they don't know, there's no change of address or change of phone numbers or change of any information, you can just simply do nothing and we're just gonna roll it forward to the next year. But if you have to do something, if you know how to do it, go online, do it. If not, you can go to one of these nights where we're gonna have people at the schools. We've already done, I think, three or four. I think the high school had maybe 3 people show up. Correct. Yeah, but it's a little different for people. I think we were a little busier both at Sherman and Pioneer last week, and I'm not sure who we have this week, but they're very appreciative of having these nights, and I think it's an opportunity for people to talk to the families as they come in and help them through. 90% of the problems are people forget their passwords, and so we're there to help them get them through. And so you may hear some positives, you may hear some negatives, but like anything, it's a change from what we've done in the past. And so we're hopeful that this helps to streamline some of that process. So we'll see, and we'll evaluate it when it's done and decide if we want to make any changes for next year. So
I put the schedule up there.
yeah. It was a long letter.
I saw that, well, not that, but yeah, I saw
Yeah.
that.
So
Nice.
unless you have any questions, that's my report for you.
Okay, next up would be Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum and Assessment, but I think she's not going to do that from Mexico.
Jamaica.
Right, Jamaica, all right. So next up, we have CFO, Ms. Tony Miller.
No. Arena was kind enough to send me photos that she
Right.
took when she got there.
I'm not sure that's kind.
I don't think so either. I just had 3 quick updates. As far as changing banks, we're moving along. I really want to say I appreciate Bank of Colorado because they come here to train our people. They don't send you to a site with a video. They come in the office. Today, they were here training our payroll folks, and I think that it just went really smooth. They were in the office a week or so ago training us how to do the remote deposit machine. So we're already as of today, we're starting to deposit into Bank of Colorado with those. I will be heading over to the treasurer's office tomorrow to switch over our property taxes to go to Bank of Colorado. And then we've also got just some miscellaneous forms we had to do for CSACE and Colorado Trust to be able to transfer into Bank of Colorado. So we're pretty much getting things moving along. I'm really hopeful by the end of May to have the transition mostly complete. Secondly, I just want to give you an update on budget. It seems like I live in budget land most of my life. I'm hoping to have maybe some preliminary numbers for you to look at next meeting. They'd be rough, because my goal is to have my my final preliminary to you all by June 12th. I'll just email it to you. You can look it over, call me, email me with questions, and then we'll look at it at the board meeting on the 19th. And if there's revisions, I can have those in place before the 19th. Policy, I would like, again, to have the board consider raising the minimum general fund balance from 5.3 million to 8.4. And what that minimum balance is you cannot budget to spend down past that in your general fund. You have to keep that minimum. And Rob and I had visited when he first came, and in Marino, they would do 3 to 5 months. We currently, at the 5.3 million, only have 1.9 months of expense. If we would want to go 3 months, it would be 8.4 million. Not a huge jump, but it would just say that's our safety net. We can't spend down past 8.4. So if you would consider that, I would appreciate it.
Doesn't Tabor have like an official percentage that we have to do? Like, isn't there a minimum from Tabor?
I am not sure on that, but I'll look.
But it's like 3%.
Okay.
It's not a large number.
Okay.
I just know that hasn't been adjusted in a very long time, and so we probably need to revisit and look at it.
I was the new board member, so yeah, it's been a while.
And that's all I have for you.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Tony? All right, moving on to our Human Resources Director for a little while, Dr. Childress.
Thank you. Just a negotiations update. We met with FMEA today. A very productive meeting, and we're hoping to have MOUs for you to look at for the next board meeting. So if everything goes well, we'll have that. If we still need to have some further conversations, then it'll get pushed out till the beginning of June, that first June meeting. So we're close to wrapping those up. Open enrollment for insurance is started today and will go through the 15th. Clarissa and I will be out in buildings and visit the facilities and bus garage and help folks through. But this is going to be a significantly easier process this year because if you like what you got, you don't have to do anything. So you just kind of keep it rolling. So we did see a small increase, a 6% increase. So an individual's premium that the district will be able to cover, at least that's the plan so far, is $805. That's up from $759 this year. So small increase, and that's a good thing. just on a personal note, I just want to say thank you to the board, thank you to Rob Sanders and my DSC compatriots for 3 great years. It's been fantastic. It was a little bit of my heart skipped a beat when I had to post my own position last week. But I am very happy to be getting closer to home, and I'm going to look for John Prouty's name at the Valley Vikings high school there, and see what we can
Look at 1980, you'll find it.
see what we can do for John's alma mater. So, but thank you very much for the last 3 years. It's been fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to discussion items. We're talking about the last day of school for the 22-23 school year. Did you want to speak, Mr. Sanders?
Yeah, basically what we're looking at doing is we have enough snow days to cover that, and we'd like to do a picnic that day at the high school with staff. We talked about a half day, but we found that what happens on those half days is that, especially on the last day of school, you'll miss your bus drivers, you'll miss your secretaries, you'll miss your cooks, some of those people that can't come to the party that we're gonna have at the end of the year. And so we went back to a full day, and you're all invited to come and address the staff if you'd like to, and thank you for a good year and all that kind of stuff. And so we'd like to consider not having school on the 26th of May.
Okay, thank you. That's an action item. Later, so. Okay, the second discussion item, policy GCAB, administrative staff positions, a revision, or are we just going to?
Yeah, I think when we talked at our work session, we talked about allowing administrative staff to be able to coach, and what I would like to see us change that to, revise it to, is that assistant principals would be able to coach. I'm not sure I'm comfortable with principals at this point coaching, and so we would strike that, administrative staff, and I think if we don't make it specific, we'll find ourselves in a situation where, you know, we'll have principals wanting to coach, and I'm not sure that's a real effective model in the end. I think it's probably best for us to stay with assistants, so.
Well, I think it's also important to maybe put limitations on how much they can
one
coach.
sport.
One sport, because
One sport.
they don't want to have an assistant principal
Yeah,
going all year.
no, we can't have an assistant principal be the coach of every sport. We just can't do that. It's gotta be one sport, and that's it, so.
Okay, any questions about that?
And then
Next.
would there be,
Oh,
would there
you're
be
fine.
discussions then amongst the administrative staff on who's covering when that administrator is
Yes,
gone?
we talked about that as far as both the junior high and high school, and they realize that if somebody's coaching during a season, they're gonna have to pick up extra slack at that time, and it's just gonna have to be that way. That's part of, I mean, we're at the position now where sometimes it's either have an assistant principal coach or
Don't
not have a coach. And
Yeah.
so I think we'd rather have a coach and pick up a third extra activities if we have to.
Okay, moving along. We have the consent agenda in front of us. It is the personnel action report. What is the pleasure of the board?
Move to approve. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Chris Brown?
Aye.
Rob Caruth?
Aye.
Nancy Hopper?
Aye.
Katie Just?
Aye.
John Prouty?
Aye.
Melissa Smits?
Aye. Action item A, last day of school for the 22-23 school year. Recommend that we approve it for Thursday, May 25th, 2023. What is the pleasure of the board?
Move to approve?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any more discussion? Roll call, please.
Chris Brown?
Aye.
Rob Caruth?
Aye.
Nancy Hopper?
Aye.
Katie Just?
Aye.
John Prouty?
Aye.
Melissa Smits?
Aye. Action item B, graduating students of the class of 2023 for Lincoln High School. I am so impressed with how many there are. What is the pleasure of the board?
Move to approve?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Chris Brown.
Aye.
Rob Cruz.
Aye.
Nancy Hopper.
Aye.
Katie Jess.
Aye.
John Proudy.
Aye.
Melissa Smits.
Aye. Action item C, night deposit access at Bank of Colorado. What is the pleasure of the board?
Move to approve. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Chris Brown.
Aye.
Rob Cruz.
Aye.
Nancy Hopper.
Aye.
Katie Jess.
Aye.
John Proudy.
Aye.
Melissa Smits.
Aye. Action item D, scale up apprenticeship grant. What is the pleasure of the board?
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Chris Brown.
Aye.
Rob Cruz.
Aye.
Nancy Hopper.
Aye.
Katie Jess.
Aye.
John Proudy.
Aye.
Melissa Smits.
Aye. Next, we have action item E, donation to Pioneer Elementary School from Morgan Strong, $3,500. What is the pleasure of the board?
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Thank you. Roll call, please.
Chris Brown.
Aye.
Rob Cruz.
Aye.
Nancy Hopper.
Aye.
Katie Jess.
Aye.
John Proudy.
Aye.
Melissa Smits.
Aye. Action item F, donation to Pioneer Elementary from the Fort Morgan Retired School Employees Association.
Move to approve.
We have, oh, sorry.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Again, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Roll call, please.
Chris Brown.
Aye.
Rob Cruz.
Aye.
Nancy Hopper.
Aye.
Katie Jess.
Aye.
John Proudy.
Aye.
Melissa Smits.
Aye. Next up, we have newsletters from Sherman, Baker, Columbine, Green Acres, and Pioneer. Always very much fun. Then we have advanced planning. We have the next Board of Education meeting is May 15th. We have Fort Morgan High School Mighty Mustangs Award Ceremony, May 3rd. National Teacher Appreciation Week, May 8th to May 12th. Although their Appreciation Day is Tuesday, May 2nd, tomorrow. Fort Morgan High School Senior Banquet is May 11th. Lincoln High School Graduation Ceremony is May 12th. Fort Morgan High School Baccalaureate is May 19th. Fort Morgan High School Graduation Parade is May 20th. Fort Morgan High School Graduation Ceremony is May 21st. Fort Morgan Middle School Continuation Ceremony is May 25th. The last day of school is May 26th. The end of the year staff picnic is at Fort Morgan High School on Friday, May 26th. That's right, it's in the Glenn Miller Auditorium. Okay, thank you.
What time?
For that?
We haven't decided that
We haven't decided.
we need to do that. We'll send an invitation out to
Just want to get the
Okay.
day off approved first.
Yeah, we.
Because it was at Legion last year.
Yeah, it was too.
Yeah. So actually,
So it's either gonna be windy, hot, rainy, or snowing, probably. Okay, and that's it for that, but we decided that we were going to do our board evaluation questions. So the first one, were board members prepared for the meeting? Did you all read the agenda before you came?
Yes.
Twice.
Woo! Did the board follow their agreed upon board member and board meeting norms and agreements? Since we haven't done those yet, I would say yes. Did the board members treat each other with courtesy and respect? Except for Nancy, no, we did not.
Well, Brian was out of you, so.
Wow, we're not doing well, guys. Did board members seek first to understand and then to be understood? I think we did pretty well with that. Did the board focus on what is best for the students of the district?
Better be.
Always.
Always, exactly. Did the board focus on its word, policy, guidance, goals, and not operations? We did not discuss the color of the boardroom floor, so I think we're good. Did the board receive information that requires a review of a policy or the creation of a new policy? Yes, we
Yes.
did. And are there items that the board would like to receive more information about at a future meeting?
As I was perusing the policies, looking at the administrative coaching, there is one in there on length of school day, which will have to be amended. Because it's currently 7:30 to 3:30 or whatever it is.
We have a
We'll have to
list
adjust
of
that.
policies, right?
That'll have to be, that one's got jumped out at me.
Yeah. I was thinking, since we're talking about graduation this month, that maybe we could talk about graduation rates whenever they come in.
It takes a bit, but
It's usually not until the fall sometime you
yeah.
get those, I think.
It's a crazy formula to use at the state.
Okay.
So it does take a little bit of time to get them in. You'd think it'd be simple to say, you had this many kids start in ninth grade, this many kids graduate, but it's not that simple.
Well, I think you have some credit recovery going on in the summer.
And some will do it, did they start their senior year and finish their senior year? And there's this crazy things, it's a 7-year average or something like that now.
They have a 4-year average, 5-year average, 6-year average, and then
Right.
the matriculation rate and all this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, we can look at all that though.
Good. Anything else anybody wants to? Okay. The meeting is adjourned at 7:36.
That's just